Hi everyone, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us again on our Monday through Friday, every weekday Q&A, question and answer session about U.S. immigration law live, taking your questions every weekday on TikTok, immigration lawyer John, and on Thursdays, today July 15th or 16th, whatever it is. Is it July 16th already? Please don't tell me. Oh, it is. Time flies. Already July 16th on Instagram, JQK Law Firm. Shakrullah, good to see you again. A regular viewer, I appreciate it. And as questions try to trickle in, just two reminders. One, this is general education only. You should consult with an immigration lawyer in private about your case for that kind of guidance. So the lawyer needs to really look at your documents and look at your background to give you a good idea of what's going on. And secondly, if you haven't already and you have a marriage immigration case, you're doing some fiancé visa, you're getting married, anything like that, and you need information, the best thing to do is to first go and download the Ultimate Marriage Immigration Green Card book, ebook that is. So the Ultimate Marriage Immigration Green Card ebook, all those words in there. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook to download it. It's the best ebook out there on the subject. It's not exhaustive. It's not going to cover every situation, but if you're getting started, that's the first place you should go. Read that and then talk to lawyers so you'll know if the lawyer knows what they're talking about, because you have all the information there. And it gives you guidance on how to even choose a lawyer, what to look for, and it breaks the process down so you have something to go by, something to start with in your process for getting a marriage-based case. Again, the website for that is marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. It's free. Just go there, put your email in, and you can immediately download the ebook. And so with that, let's get it started. All right, so we have a lot of people joining us. Thank you so much for everyone who's coming on board. Let's see, a lot of people joining, still no questions, a lot of hellos. Gordon, good to see you. Charles, good to see you as well. And our friends on Instagram. What's going on in the immigration world? Well, a lot of bad stuff mostly. So a lot of things are popping up. The USCIS is going to be changing up how they adjudicate things. They're pushing the fact that they have a lot of discretion in what they're doing, which only is a key word for meaning they're discretionarily going to deny more things than they used to. It just goes in line with what's going on in the system. Luckily, the student visa situation got better for those who are here on student visas and had courses that were online only due to COVID-19. Their universities or colleges wouldn't have in-person classes. They're going to kick out all these students. Luckily, after lawsuits and a lot of noise, the administration backed down, but don't hold, they'll come back. So be prepared for the worst when it comes to this administration, when it comes to the immigration world. Other than that, there's a myriad of things that are going on. We still don't have any real word on what's going on with the opening of the embassies. They said they were going to start opening up June 15th, July 15th, but really in reality, when I check their websites, they don't have information. It's really inconsistent. And when USCIS is fully going to restart the rescheduling and scheduling of adjustment green card interviews at USCIS, is a mixed bag. We don't really have word. Anecdotally, I've had colleagues tell me in their cities they're getting notices, but we don't really know if it's happening fully or not. And what looms over us is the potential bankruptcy of USCIS, where they don't have enough money to even pay their employees, which means they're going to furlough a majority of their employees. And what's that going to do to case processing times? What does that mean for submitting at least an application so you could get a priority date in? No one knows. They're not communicating with us. What's going on with DACA? Could we submit an application? Could we not? We don't know. And just a lot of things we don't know. So there's going to be a lot of questions coming up in this next half hour asking about how long their case is going to happen, how long this, when are the embassies open up. Let me just tell you ahead of time, there's no answer to that. No one in the world has the answer to that. Maybe the people in charge do, and God, but not me right here, and no one else who's a civilian, unless they're in the State Department, the higher ups, and they have the authority to force people to go back to work at the embassy or USCIS. We have no idea what's going to be happening. So Pinky asks, is there any updates for asylum pending? Well, really, that's a case-specific question. Maybe there is updates for your case, but not for other people. Or maybe there's updates for other people, not you. You really got to see what you're talking about. They said they should be starting to reschedule interviews, but who knows? Because you have to keep in mind there's been a resurgence of COVID-19. So there, restaurants in California were supposed to open up. They shut them down again. And USCIS are human beings too, and they're worried about this kind of stuff. Now, I have clients going in for naturalization interviews and oath ceremonies. I'm getting those. I'm getting approval notices for I-130s. If you go on YouTube, a copy of my I-130 approval I just got is right there. I'm going to be getting an I-129F fiancé visa approval notice in a couple days. I'll put that there as well. I have citizenship interviews, oath ceremony, naturalization. All that's happening. It's just if you need an in-person interview other than naturalization, that is not happening yet, or very rare if it does, unless you fit within certain extenuating circumstances, certain exceptions. That still does happen. I had a colleague have a green card case at the U.S. Embassy in Argentina that went through, one in Paris. So these things are popping up. It is happening. It's all over the place. We don't have exact information. I have a client who's going to have a fiancé visa interview in Oceania area region. I don't want to get too specific, so these things are happening, but we just don't know. Each case is case by case, and how long it takes. Some happen still really fast, some are slower. There's no way to give an answer to these, but feel free to shoot out your questions. Chalam asks, I'm on H-1B, that's a work visa. I read that I can start a company and work for it, provided board of directors can fire me. Is that true? Well, let's talk about that. So the H-1B visa is when you have an employer in the United States that needs your specialized knowledge. Now, you have to have an employer, a true employer-employee relationship. So you can't just start a company and be your own boss, because that becomes a fake company. You're not really an employee of that company. However, for the H-1B, if you potentially are a minority holder of that company and you have people above you, presidents, board of directors, that can fire you and have authority over you despite your ownership in there, maybe you can argue that it is a true employer-employee relationship, and because of that, you can be petitioned by your own company. Again, I wouldn't recommend being majority owner. It'd be a minority control of that for sure. But that's something you should really talk with an immigration attorney about, because you have to review the company's operating agreements, shareholder certificates, all that kind of information that breaks down what the ownership is, and then take on the risk that is associated with that. But you could always give it a try. But the H-1B is not a long-term solution. There's a time limitation for them. And then if they file for a green card for you, they're more strict on this issue than they would be if it was just an H-1B. So this requires some deep analysis, preparation, review of documents, review of corporate documents, all that kind of stuff to give a good answer to this. And there's always risks involved in this administration. They're looking for reasons to create problems for people, even when there is no problem. So just prepare for that risk. H-1B maybe, the green card is a little more tough. I'd be careful for that. And then also with the green card, you have to be worried about what country you're born in and all the issues involved with the timelines that takes for a green card to happen. Because inevitably, again, the H-1B is a limited time. So you really want to have a next set plan, what your plans are next. And maybe in this time you fall in love, get married to a U.S. citizen, that'll solve everything. It happens. A lot of my cases are just like that. Hopefully that information helped you out a little. All right. So, Budner Law, thank you for joining. Good to see you. Let's see. Yoni says, can a green card holder sponsor a parent, and how long does that take? Well, no, a green card holder cannot sponsor a parent. You have to be a U.S. citizen to sponsor a parent for their green card. And how long does it take? It varies depending on a lot of things. I have a training program for immigration lawyers called the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox, and I was doing a training session with another attorney who does a lot of work for clients who are from Syria. Applicants for green cards are from Syria. And he was going through the process required for a Syrian to do an immigration interview at the embassy. And it's crazy. They have to first get a permission to go to Beirut, and then get permission to fly from Beirut to the embassy in Jordan and do all this kind of stuff. And they're so backed up in Jordan, it's so crazy that it takes forever. So, that it's hard to even judge how long these are going to take. Plus, Syrians get subject to this travel ban and that travel ban. There's a lot of things, so it's really hard to give you a timetable. We can sit down and talk about it during a consultation, and that's how I could break down general ideas of a timetable, but we really need to sit down and talk about it in reference to your case, your parents' country backgrounds, their personal backgrounds, public charge issues. There's a lot going on than just say this and this, how long it takes. It would be a lie to give a quick answer like that. But schedule a consultation first, get your citizenship too. That's required for you to be able to apply for your parents. So hello Abdullah, good to see you again. Abdul Wishah, I'm gonna say it right. Abdullah Wishah, thank you. Thank you to see you. You're welcome, Chala. Zing says hi. And Pinky, before we get to Instagram, says, read somewhere, baby born on USA can no longer be a US citizen. Is that true? Well, President Trump wants to get rid of that birthright citizenship. It hasn't happened yet. It'll be an uphill battle because the Supreme Court, like 100 years ago, said as long as you're born here, you could be a U.S. citizen. But things could change. But right now, no. If a person is born on U.S. soil, they're automatically a U.S. citizen. Let's see. Shakrullah says, how important is it that when someone is under 26, they register with the Selective Service when they come to the United States. It's very important because if you don't do that, you can't file for citizenship. They'll deny your citizenship in most cases, unless you can argue that we didn't know or something like that. It's a hard thing to do. However, once 5 years go after that at the age of 26, you can schedule for apply for citizenship. It's not a big deal. But before the age of 31, 5 years after 26, before in that 5 year period, if you haven't, it's going to be problematic to be able to apply for citizenship. Now note, if you file for adjustment of status in the United States, they automatically register you. It's only if you come through consular processing, they'll give you a piece of paper as a reminder, or at least they're supposed to, that says, hey, register for the Selective Service Draft. Now, what is the Selective Service Draft? A lot of countries in the world have militaries, and they force their people to join the military. The U.S. did away with that fully after Vietnam War, but we still have a system. And when I turned 18, I had to register with the Selective Service Draft. It's technically a crime not to. And the thing is, even if you're here illegally, let's say you came across the border illegally without permission, you still have to sign up for the Selective Service Draft. The only people in the United States that don't have to are women and people that are here on temporary visas. Like if you're here on a student visa, you're foreign national, you don't. But if you're here without permission, you're here with a green card holder, or you're here as a citizen, and you're a male, you have to sign up with the Selective Service Draft between the age of, I think, 18 and 26. If you don't, it's not good. They don't really do anything about it. But if you're going to file for citizenship, that's going to be a problem. Great question. Thank you for bringing it up. It's really important that people be aware of this. Hey, Roman, how are you on Instagram? Thanks. Good to see you. Roman Zelichenko, a great guy who does, I don't know if it helps people watching this too much, but he's a former immigration attorney, a tech guru. Catch him on LinkedIn. That'd be a great guy. His LinkedIn, I'm going to say your name, but people are going to have a hard time finding it. But Roman Zelichenko. Good to see you, brother. Pinky Boy says, okay, we answered that question actually. All right, Kel Hendy says, can I apply for I-130 for my wife? I'm a green card holder. Yes, a lawful permanent resident or a green card holder, as is commonly known, can file for their spouse. It's under the F2A preference category, family 2A second preference. What's it called? A preference category. Right now, there's no backlog for it. So few people have applied for it that the timeline is pretty quick. It's the I-130 for that still takes longer than if you're a U.S. citizen, but overall, you should do it. I consult with the lawyer. If you have a marriage case, can need 100%. The first thing you need to do, and I could just say this professionally, is go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook, and that really breaks down what you need. After the cover, the second page in that ebook has a chart that breaks down what your status is, citizen or green card holder, other, whatever it is, and then if their spouse is in the United States, outside the United States, if they have violation or not, it'll break down what you can do and can't do, and along with the chapter that references what you got to think about there, it explains it. So it's a multi-chapter book. I think it's 30 or 40 pages. I'm going to even update it more and more and add more stuff. But it's the greatest ebook there is on this subject for regular people to understand the general process. So go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook and download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook. And then once you read that, then start consulting attorneys. You can consult and schedule a time in my office. I even have a chapter in there that tells you and explains to you what to look for in an immigration attorney that can help you decide who the person is that you want to work with if you're going to hire an attorney for this process. But great question. You can file for your spouse as a green card holder, and that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, there's more to it, but that initial I-130 petition you're asking is not a problem unless you've been, criminal activity that's really serious, usually with minor children. We don't want to go into that, but that's the only thing that can prevent you from doing it. Abdullah Wishal says, why is it saying invalid number when I'm checking my I-130 case using my receipt number? That happens every once in a while. The computer system for USCIS is not always consistent. It may be that your number is wrong. It may be your case has a problem. I don't know. But I've had this issue pop up where I have one case right now. We applied for a work permit extension and the case number is not working. And so my client really is kind of worried about this. But sometimes the computer system just sucks. If it doesn't clear up in a day or two, try giving me a call. It's going to be hard to get a hold of him because you need to give a case number to go in. Sometimes I just punch out another number just to get through the initial phone system to get a hold of somebody. But once you're past that and you try to get a hold of an officer, talk with them and say, I can't find my case number. This is my name. Please help me. I'm worried. And hopefully I'll help you. And some officers will be helpful, some won't be. So you may need to call multiple times to get someone that can help you. That's what you should do. Thank you, Abdullah. I got to say Abdullah. On Instagram, Shakrullah says, is there any difference between citizens, someone who becomes citizen and someone who who becomes a citizen according to who was born here? is there any difference between citizens, someone who becomes a citizen? And okay, so you're essentially saying, is there a difference between a natural citizen or a naturalized citizen? Someone's born here as opposed to someone becomes a citizen later. Not really. The only main difference is that they could denaturalize you. So if you became a citizen later on, and there's a potential that they may take away your citizenship if there's something pops up. I gave a story about this yesterday, but essentially, yeah, if you wrongfully got your citizenship or your green card and they find out later, they can go back and take away your citizenship, potentially your green card, and potentially even deport you. So those issues do exist. That won't happen if someone is born here as a citizen, but that's that. Even if you're born here as a citizen, there was a case where this one woman who came to was born in the United States, but she was born while her father was a diplomat. And then, but she sued and because diplomatic children don't get citizenship automatically. But she sued and said, my dad quit the job before I was born, this and that. And the courts forced her to get a passport. She then goes and joins ISIS in Syria and fights for them and does all this kind of stuff. They capture her and she wants to come back. And the U.S. State Department cancels her passport and says, no, you're not a citizen. So even if you're born here, it doesn't always work that way. That's an extreme scenario. Very few, if any, people are going to deal with that. But that kind of stuff pops up. Yoni says, if someone been living in the United States illegally, but enter the country with a visa from their country, and then become a legal resident to become a citizen, they have to wait 5 more years or just 1? Okay, there's a lot going on in your questions. You're saying someone entered the visa, but overstayed, so they were unlawful, and then they eventually got a green card. How long does it take to be a U.S. citizen? Just normal, the history doesn't make a difference unless there's serious violations we don't know about. Essentially, they need to just wait 5 years, or if they've been living and married to a U.S. citizen, it's 3 years. That's the general idea behind that. All right, got a lot of people joining. Thank you so much. Great questions coming up. U.S. Dream says, my friend is a Philippine citizen. How many years he can get a green card through EB3? Well, tell your friend to go check out the Visa Bulletin on the State Department site. You could type in Visa Bulletin, and the first link usually that comes up is from the State Department. Click on the top link that has the month there, and then scroll down to the chart, the first chart that's employment-based. And so you'll look at the final action date for the EB3 category under Philippines, and it'll give you an idea of what cases they're currently adjudicating. Now, that timeline doesn't move smoothly. Like every month, it doesn't move 1 month forward. Sometimes it may jump 3 or 4 months forward. Sometimes it might jump a year back. We don't know, but that's generally it. I don't have that chart handy, so I don't know exactly how much time is right there, and it changes every month, as I said. But you should just go to the source, check out the Visa Bulletin, final action date chart for employment-based category 3 for the Philippines. That's a long answer, but the exact answer to your question. But having said that, that chart doesn't help you any because these timelines vary. So again, when people ask me how long things take, as I talked about at the beginning of this video, there's no proper answer to what you're doing. Like right now, it's a travel ban. If your friend had their interview but hadn't had their visa scheduled, they're stuck until the end of this year at the very least. So when you say how much time this takes, I don't know. You just got to be patient and wait it out. All right, so next question. Roger says, I'm 200 years old. God bless. Good for you. You look like Ernesto Valverde. I have to look up who that is. Abdul, you're welcome. Big Money says, hey, my wife can't approve from the NBC. When will they give her an interview? I don't know, whenever they get around to it. Ahmed says, if a non-American has an LLC here, is there any chance of getting permanent residency? Not really. LLC is just filing for a company, so there's issues involved with that itself. But the residency is usually based on either family relationship, employment-based, investment, asylum, or some rare other actions. We need to see what's going on. But having LLC doesn't mean anything for immigration. Kieran says, can spouse and kids come back to U.S. now? It depends. I need to know who the spouse and kids are, what their status is, what they're coming at. I don't know. You should consult an immigration attorney if you're stuck outside the U.S. Kelhen says, if I'm in the process of N400, should I wait for applying for I-130 or get my citizenship first? That's a $1 million question. It's up to you. Sometimes when you file for a green card, it takes a little bit longer. But then if you do file for a green card, you become a citizen and you upgrade the case of citizenship, they sometimes mess around and don't realize you're a citizen. I got to know more facts and talk about your personal circumstances. That's really case specific because you're asking what I should do in this process. I really need to know more about your family life, your personal background to see what's going on, to start giving you an opinion on that. Just schedule a consultation in my office. Check out the Marriage Green Card ebook. It's on the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook. It's on marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. Download that, read it so you have an idea. It explains what I'm talking about here, and then just email me and schedule a consultation in my office, and we can take it from there. Let's see. Thank you for sharing. If y'all haven't already, please go ahead and follow on TikTok. It's Immigration Lawyer John, John. On YouTube, that's the primary place. It's JQK Law Firm, the YouTube page. Instagram, JK Law Firm as well. Get that in there. You'll learn a lot of new information and ways to contact me as well, but also a lot of videos, a lot of stuff that may not be on TikTok and may not be on Instagram. I spread out the information in different places, so you got to go to all the things to get the latest kind of stuff. You definitely do that if you haven't already. And if you want to be on my mail list, just email me, or I think it's jqqlaw.com/newsletter. And you can check that out. If you're on TikTok, there's a link tree that has a link to my newsletter, but jqqlaw.com/newsletter is what I believe it is. If you go to my YouTube page and look in the description, I think there's a link to the newsletter. It's really good to have that open communication and update you on urgent stuff as they pop up. All right, so we have a question. Alfredo says, what college did you attend? Well, I went to Santa Monica College first, then I went to UCLA, and after that I went to Loyola Law School. I also taught at Loyola Law School, immigration law, and at Pepperdine Law School, a professor of immigration law at both those universities, graduate schools. You're welcome, Ahmed. Kelhan says, if I'm in process, will you answer that one? All right, so we got a couple more. Okay, so we got caught up. Just shoot out your questions as they're coming along. We got a little bit more time left right here. Thank you for everyone who's joining. Let's talk about something important. I'm going to be talking with college students, F1 student visa holders at the University of Southern California, USC, I'm going to have a seminar there, a regular seminar for those students to talk, and it's not associated with the school, but it's a student body. They contacted me, and we're going to go and talk about the issues that exist with student visas, because there's a lot of things that happen. I'm going to be putting out a lot of videos on that. If you are interested in student visa kind of stuff, let me know what kind of questions you have so I could address those. The video is going to be put out probably of that sitting, so I want to make sure I address questions you have. I'll talk about that more in a second, but we got a couple of questions right here. One of them is, Lyson follows up, what grades you need to get into UCLA? Well, I don't know. I was an A student, so I was that, but what grades you need, you got to check out. It changes every year, and LSAT scores go into it too, and your background, and they have affirmative action, that kind of stuff. There's all these different reasons and different things they put into a person going to university. Personally, unless you want to get a graduate degree like in medicine or law or something like that, or engineering, I don't recommend going to college. Just learn a trade or learn business and stuff like that. But if you want to go to UCLA, I'm not the person, I'm not an admissions person. There's 100 websites that you could go to. They'll talk about that. Andres says, talk about VAWA requirements. So I don't take on VAWA cases, so I'm not an expert on that. But in general, you have to show abuse by a U.S. citizen or green card holding spouse, and you have to file that case within like 2 years of the abuse happening or something like that. It's really important to document it. And having VAWA is very powerful because if you have a lot of immigration violations, they look the other way and let it go. Potentially, if you have a VAWA claim, Violence Against Women's Act claim, for those who don't know, it's not just for women, it's just generally if you're in an abusive relationship with the U.S. person, you potentially get a green card from it. You may also have a U visa claim or maybe a T visa claim as well, who knows. These are victims of crimes, and T visas are people who have been trafficked, sexual trafficking. But I don't handle these cases at all, so I'm not a person to consult with on that. If you need more information, email me, and I'll connect you with a colleague that does VAWA cases, U visa cases, T visa cases, those kind of stuff. It could be helpful. Maddie says, EAD cards are still taking long. EAD comes, but no social security card. There's both problems. So you could have your EAD, which is your work permit card, approved. USCIS, in many cases, not even printing them because they ran out of money. So you might get an approval, but not get the EAD card itself. Also, Social Security office is going nuts too. We don't know what's going on. They're not issuing Social Security numbers for a lot of cases. So this COVID-19 has really thrown a wrench in the gears of the Social Security system and the immigration system for actually getting the cards and Social Security numbers and stuff like that. So you just got to be patient. Hopefully it happens, and you're not one of the cases that gets stuck for that. But if you have problems with Social Security office, call them up, see what they could tell you. And with USCIS, good luck. I don't know. I don't have much that can help you. Let's see. The real Aryan says, I applied for my mom's visiting visa extension anything they have to keep in mind. I don't know, that's case specific. Just make sure you filed for it, make sure you have your proper address and you keep on top of it in case you receive a request for evidence. But other than that, I have to know more about your background. Leon says, did you meet anyone famous at UCLA? Did I meet anyone famous at UCLA? I mean, there was athletes that became really famous, like big basketball players. I can't remember who they are. When I was Jordan Farmer, I was a Laker. I remember him when I was going to school. There's some football, basketball players. I'm not into sports too much, so I don't remember who they were exactly. People that are famous, not really. UCLA has just so many students, really big school. But no, not one I can recall. Mausa says, can someone visit their family with a B visa, and how does it work? Well, if someone is outside the United States and wants to come in the United States to visit a family member, they can try applying for a B1 or B2, probably a B2 tourist visa to come to the United States. They need to, go to the State Department's website, the tourist visa website, complete a form DS-160, and then prepare their application package to go to do an interview at the embassy, schedule one. There's a lot going on there, but they do an interview. If they're approved, they're approved. If they're not, they're not. They're not. That's the way it goes, really. There's a lot of information online about it. If you wanted to schedule a consultation for me to talk with you and the family member about what's important, we could do that. But at the end of the day, it's up to the consular officer if they're going to let you in. And you got to keep in mind, there's a lot of different travel bans, so you may not be able to get a tourist visa. So like a German person cannot get a tourist visa right now. If they, not German person, but if they have been in Germany. If a person's been in Germany in the last 2 weeks, they won't give them a tourist visa, and it'll be hard finding an embassy that's even open to even do the interview in the first place. So there's a lot going on there, but hopefully that was just a quick thing about it. Hillary says, is immigration taking cases at this moment? Yes, I'm filing cases almost every day. I'm getting approval notices almost every other day. Rarely, but I do get RFEs as well. Usually almost always garbage RFEs that have nothing to do with reality. But it's happening, so you should consult an attorney, but the immigration department had never stopped. They're always taking petitions and applications. Unfortunately, a lot of people think it's stopped, and that's why the immigration department says they're getting, they don't have enough money to operate, because all of a sudden people will stop petitioning or sending applications and mistakenly think it doesn't work, or maybe they didn't have the money because of COVID-19, but who knows, they lost their job. But that's that. Kel Hendy, you're welcome. Hillary says, I put in papers for my husband since January, and our case is still pending. Well, 6 months for any case is normal. I don't know exactly what kind of case or what you submitted, but for January, July, it's nothing abnormal, like a marriage case. That things take long. Things take a while. Jazz says, how about people who apply for citizenship? When will they get interviewed later? They'll get interviewed whenever they get interviewed. They're scheduling interviews for citizenship right now. I'm not sure what's going on in their case. Yoni says, I'm sorry, can you answer my question again? I wasn't able to listen to you, but I had to do something. Yoni, I didn't even know what your question was, and I'll probably just catch the video recording of this. That'll be up in today's Thursday, maybe probably on Monday, but you gotta catch the recording of it. Let's do it right there. We can take it there. Sammy says, my wife have Sweden citizenship passport, so can't she come to America? Well, if Sweden is part of the EU, they may be, my wife, I don't know. I need more information about your background. So schedule a consultation in my office. There's different issues involved with travel bans. There's issues involved with having a U.S. person's spouse potentially, then not letting you in because they're afraid you're going to file for a green card. I need to know a lot more information about your backgrounds before I can give you that kind of information. Massa says, how about an Afghan from Afghanistan? You're going to deal with headaches. In any case, a lot of times they get denied or put in administrative processing. So I'm not optimistic, but it does happen. Madigan says, are they scheduling asylum interviews? What is the case happening? There are some offices, but they're doing less of them. So that's that. Yoni, stop posting your name over again. Gadi says, are the printer is working for immigration green card? No, the printing system for green cards and work permits, the factory that they had helping them with that, they canceled a contract with them. They haven't renewed it, and so they said that Washington Post had an article that said potentially many immigrant green cards and work permits are not going to get printed for now, at least. Hillary says, I enjoy watching your videos. If you give very helpful information. Well, thank you so much. It's very kind of you. I appreciate that. And Masa says, thank you, sir. You're welcome as well. For those who do enjoy the content, I'd be appreciated if you just put in JQK Law Firm into Google, and you know, my Google reviews will come up. Putting a 5-star review would always help. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you do that, just go to, again, JQK Law Firm. My picture or my logo or whatever is going to come up. Just go to the right-hand side, whatever it is, or is it the right? The right-hand side, and just click on leave a 5-star review and say a nice sentence. You don't have to write too much. Just getting those 5 stars helps me out a lot for my business and my family. So I would appreciate that if you did something like that. Thank you. Charlotte says, can a green card holder invite his parents for visiting USA? So no one invites anybody for a tourist visa. When you want to apply for a tourist visa, you apply on your own. There's no invitation letters. There's none of that. A person just applies for their own visa. Rosa says, I renewed my green card, but I have not got it. Do I know how long it takes? Go to USCIS.gov and check out their case processing times for your type of case. Sarma says, is green card halt going to impact U.S. citizen spouse I-130? I mean, it depends on what part of the case you are, what you're doing. Inevitably, there's going to impact it in some way. Haruni says, will new executive order of merit-based immigration affect F2A category? This is just rumors, so I can't give you legal advice based on, or legal education based on a rumor. So I can't tell you anything about that until I read the actual rule. Masters of defecate repeated. Yeah, just JQK, J as in Jack, Q as in Queen, K as in King, law. That should pull up my Google profile, all that kind of stuff. On the right-hand side, there'll be a Google reviews of me. I have like 74 5-star reviews, or 1 or 2 of them might be negative. And read what those negatives are. You'll see that the people are crazy to leave bad reviews. And not even my clients. They're people who called me up and I couldn't help them and they got angry at me. so that's that. But nonetheless, if you just type in JQKlaw, or that's it. It should come up for John Khosravi, my law firm, and I'd be appreciated. Thank you, Masa. I appreciate it. That's John. Sami says, if someone have a Sweden passport, can they come here? Sammy, I said, yes and no. I mean, they could try to come here because Swedish people are part of the visa waiver program, the ESTA, Electronic System for Travel Authorization. So they get a 90-day quick one to get here, but there's various travel bans right now. So I'm not sure if these travel bans will affect your spouse or not. And secondly, if you're a U.S. citizen or green card holder and they're coming to see you, they might land the plane here. They might be able to get on a plane, come to the U.S., but the Customs and Border Protection might kick them out and say, you're coming here to stay, your spouse could file for your green card, you're going to go back home. So this kind of stuff can happen. So generally, yeah, could someone see them? I mean, maybe. The answer is maybe, so that's all I can tell you. I need to know more information and warn you of all the risks that exist. Umar says, what about green card holder outside USA for more than 6 months? I did a video on this because running out of time. Just go to my YouTube page, JQK Law Firm. I get asked this every day, so I did a video that describes the issues involved with the green card holder being outside the United States for more than 6 months, and hopefully that goes well. Massa found it. Thank you, Massa. I really appreciate it. Okay, one last question from Rosa. I'll be back tomorrow, Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll be on TikTok and Immigration Lawyer John. On Facebook, JQK Law Firm. The recordings will be on jqklaw.com, so you catch it there. The last question, Rosa says, can a green card holder bring children underage? Now, a green card holder can apply for their children. It's under the F2A category as well. Right now, there's no backlog for that preference category. You can start the process. There's more to it. And sometimes you might realize, for example, if you're a green card holder and your child is born overseas, maybe they'll automatically get a green card if you leave to the United States for the first time before the age of the child's being 2. There's a lot goes into it, but mostly I'm guessing your kid is still like probably older than 2. You can apply most likely, but I need to know your case and the information involved before I can tell you that you could do that. But generally, it is possible for a green card holder to apply for a kid that's underage. So thank you everyone who's joining and coming on. We have a lot more, but with that I'll have to go, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Thanks again for coming. It's always a pleasure to come and talk, especially when there's good questions. This is the 3rd day in a row where we had good question days, and if you might watch the video of this, I've been energetic and happy because the questions are good. I get excited when I get these great questions, so I really appreciate you for coming on. These questions are going to help a lot of people because I put the video of this on YouTube, and then I take the best questions, make shorter clips, so it helps not just you, but hundreds of thousands of people who go back and look into this. So thanks again, everybody. God bless, be safe, and we'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.